breaking news, the Robotaxi service area is going to expand this weekend in Austin. Now, this is a pretty big deal for people that follow Tesla because Tesla just unveiled their Robotaxi network about 3 weeks ago or so. And the service expanding as quick as it has is a pretty pivotal moment because if you look at previous companies that have released self-driving cars, usually it takes them a while to expand their networks. So companies like Zoox and Waymo, et cetera, this is because they want to make sure that they're testing safety, they're testing all the different pieces to ensure that the self-driving car system is working properly, accounting for things like road work, different traffic conditions, pedestrians, heavily trafficked areas, et cetera. But what's unique about the Tesla system is that it allows them to move quickly like this, sort of expanding the network because of the AI process they've taken in teaching the car how to drive. And so this is specifically the thing that Tesla fans, Tesla investors were looking for, was to see how quickly the company would expand. And this is a pretty big signal. It's a start, right? So I don't want to overhype this too much. It is very exciting. I think it points the company towards the right direction, especially for people that are invested in the company. But it is very telling that the company is on a path for rapid expansion and rapid rollout of the service. And what's interesting about that is that it sort of came in after a couple waves of adding more people to the pool of people that can actually ride hail, or rather hail the robotaxis. So they did an initial one, which I was a part of, and then they did a couple more with just random people in Austin. And now it seems like we're at the point where the service area is going to be expanded, which by default means they're going to add more cars to that service area. If they keep the same 11 or 13 cars or whatever they had in that extended service area, that means that the wait times are going to be very long. And so by default, if they want good wait times in the area, they're going to have to add more cars to the fleet. So it's going to be very interesting to see how many cars they add. My guess is that they'll probably double the fleet to 20 cars. Maybe they'll add 20 cars and make it 30 or whatever that number is. And how far they go in the expansion of Austin is going to be very interesting, because the area that they're expanding in, since I'm local to the area that they're expanding in is going to have a lot more foot traffic, especially at night, especially on the weekends, because now you're starting to hit places like 6th Street and Congress and Lamar and even the Capitol building, et cetera. These places usually get, they have touristy traffic, they have, people walking around, but at night, 6th Street is a disaster to the point where they have to close down that street. And that area of the city as well, especially during rush hour, gets super packed. I was literally in 2-hour traffic today trying to get back from freaking Capitol Factory. It was insane. It was terrible. I hated it. It was the worst. But so that sometimes happens here in Austin, right? One person makes the wrong turn, all of a sudden the whole freaking city has to wait for 10 hours for the traffic to clear. So it's going to be a very interesting test for the system. I highly doubt they're going to be doing highways yet. They're probably still going to keep it to, city roads and city streets. Highways is probably for another sort of update or service rollout. But I would not be surprised if Tesla starts going really fast with these expansions, if the safety is good, if they're seeing good performance, et cetera. And by default, with them expanding this service area, they're probably also going to add people to the network as well. So not just cars, but people. So expect more people to receive invites, especially if you are in the Austin area. Tesla has a sign-up page where you can go in and sign up for the service. And if you get picked, if you're in the area, you'll get selected. That's what it seems like they're doing, at least starting in South Austin. So if you're in the Austin area, do sign up. It's a super good service. I really enjoyed using it. And now that it's expanding, it's going to become more and more useful. I'm super, super pumped to try this. I'm curious to see if they're still going to have the safety riders, which I think they will. And I'm really curious to see what happens here. So come Monday, I don't know if I'm going to have time over the weekend to test this, but come Monday, I'm going to be testing a hell of a lot of different routes, because now we're getting into some very interesting areas. I'm quite familiar with that part of Austin. I know where all the road work is. I know where all the foot traffic is, especially if they make it out all the way out to UT, the University of Texas. Go Longhorns, hook 'em. Even though I went to Penn State, I'm in Austin, I got to say that, but Penn State will bit your ass anytime, all right? But especially if they make it out there, it's going to be fascinating. If they make it even further north in Austin, places like the Domain, which is kind of a promenade, that's where the crazy foot traffic is at. So if they make it all the way up there, this is going to be next level. like a next level rollout. I highly doubt they would do that, but I think UT could be in the equation. And if it is, that's going to give us a ton of stuff to test, especially once school is back in, which should be sometime in late August. So in about a month and a half, call it. So anyway, just wanted to let you know, huge stuff. I'm going to think through this a little bit more tonight. I'm going to watch the Grok 4 unveil tonight, which is also very exciting. And then if more stuff comes to mind, I'll make sure to share it with you all tomorrow. All right, everybody. Huge stuff, big stuff happening in Tesla land. All right.